Good day, it's Tony Fortunato from the technology firm. I'm going to run through a few slides of a topic that keeps coming up in my classes, workshops, and troubleshooting engagements. So let's get to it. Here we go. We're gathering information. We can see a big old Cisco switch here. Got a tap in the middle. We got a firewall over here. And there's our tool. Whatever tool you want, it doesn't matter. And in this case, we've decided to use a tap. And in this case, you can see the switch goes into the tap, comes out of that port, and then the tool is in this port. And in this case, this tap had another port that we could use as well. We're not going to talk about various types of taps. That's not what this is about. So let's go to the next slide. The pros. So we can capture all the data, including physical level errors, which is incredibly important if that's part of your problem. The packet timings are as accurate as you're going to get because we're getting them at the physical level. It doesn't add any additional load to the network equipment because these guys don't have to do anything any different than they normally do. And it can be used with unmanageable equipment. So that could be equipment that has no management capability or equipment that you do not manage. So maybe a carrier's switch, router, that sort of thing. On the negative side, it requires you to physically break that connection, which in some cases might not happen right away. You might have to schedule that during a maintenance window. You have to make sure you match speed, duplex, and physical media, and that's a big deal with fiber especially. And now you have a single point of failure. So if something should happen to that box, then there is the possibility that things may not work. You need to ensure your tool can record and capture physical level errors. So whatever tool you pick, you got to make sure it can see physical level errors if they were there. So second option, the good old span, port monitor, port mirroring, whatever you want to call it. And in this case, we're mirroring this port to, again, our tool or an application performance management tool or NTOP. It doesn't matter, whatever. And from there, the cons, physical level errors will now be missed because in many cases, I'm not going to say all, but in many cases, these span ports will not forward physical level errors. Packet timings may be skewed depending on a lot of variables that we're not going to get into. Those timings might not be accurate. Equipment will have limits to the number of span ports. And I run into this all the time where I ask, can we get a span port? And they say, no, it's in use or they are in use, whatever the limit happens to be. And span ports can be easily oversubscribed if you span more than one port or especially a VLAN, which I'm not a fan of. Lastly, you may cause more network issues if you use something like a remote span. So that means you're not on the same box, it's somewhere else, and you're directing that traffic over your network. On the brighter side, it doesn't require you to physically break the connection like we saw in the first one. It's very convenient, it's just a command, and there's no extra cost incurred for taps and that sort of thing. Now we're moving on to network management protocols, SNMP, Netflow, JFlow, whatever. And all that data goes to some sort of tool or network management station or a collector, and it's gathering statistics. And not only that, but sometimes, not only statistics, but who's talking to who and what ports and what applications and that sort of thing. But it's more of a summary of what's going on, not the actual packets per se. So in this case, some of the bad stuff, it will add load to the network equipment, the switch or the PICs, because now it has to gather information and send it out to this device. Network equipment may need to be configured to only allow access from authorized network monitoring equipment. So if you want to make sure nobody else gets this information or pulls the device, then you have to worry about passwords or access lists or filters and that sort of thing from a security standpoint, of course. No packets to review for further analysis. So if you saw something strange, a device talking to a device, and you wanted more information other than what was being reported, chances are you're not going to get it. You're going to have to capture packets, and if it's after the fact, then you just plain missed it. On the good side, it counts all traffic, including physical level errors. So now you don't have to worry about your tool being able to do that. Tools do not need to be physically close to the equipment. So that switch could be in Africa, and I could be in Toronto, that sort of thing. And no physical connections need to be broken. Again, big plus. So just 3 options of ways of gathering information from the packet level all the way up to network management. And I'm telling you right now, I've used all plus a few extras depending on the problem and depending on what I'm trying to accomplish. So I hope that helps. Have a good day. Bye for now.